You are about to enter a great adventure.
This is Strutting from Gorilla.
Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Strutting from Gorilla. I am Mikey Cash. With me is Big Vito, and today we also have another very special guest with us. Sarge Riley is back, great friend for the podcast, and he's here with us as we review SummerSlam and we preview the upcoming All In pay-per-view in London. Before we get into it, just a reminder, you can find the links to all of our socials on our website, struttingfromgorilla.com. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating and review. We would really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's jump right in, boys. Let's jump right in. Mike, good to have you back with us, man.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it, and always great to talk wrestling with you.
Loving it. So, Vito.
Mikey Cash,
Vito.
Sarge, welcome back. We're here.
The V-Man.
Good with everybody saying L.A. Night.
So good.
You love LA Knight, huh? That's your boy?
You know, look, Sarge, I'm a simple man. I'm a very simple man, and it reminds me of the glory days. He brings back the feelings, just, you know what, I enjoy LA Knight. Let's put it that way. I think they're doing him dirty a little right now. I mean, they're slowly pushing him, but whatever.
That's okay.
We can talk about this as we move forward. That's not the main purpose. But yeah, I'm an LA Knight guy.
Vito, let me get this straight. When you're watching him, you get that funny little feeling in your stomach, right? Like almost like butterflies. It's probably gas. A man your age is going to be susceptible to that. So, I wouldn't read too much into it, but damn, LA Knight. Good throwback. Loving this guy.
Nice spot, too, for Slim Jim. The Slim Jim Battle Royal. And for many years, the Macho Man had that. So nice homage to him. So maybe a segue. I don't know. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's a great spot right there. Battle Royal, Slim Jim, and their relationship in wrestling over the years. Can't argue that. Pretty good.
It's a perfect relationship. I love it.
He's the first guy that didn't get buried by the Fiend. He wasn't really the Fiend, actually, though. He was...
I don't know what he is.
Whatever he was at the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's jump into the point of this episode, right? Like we just, as soon as we started today, we just go right into the rabbit hole.
That's usually what happens.
We love LA Knight. People should check him out. The dude's awesome. All right.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to get onto him. I'm trying. He's not my guy yet. I'm trying. I'll give it a chance. I'll give it a chance.
Listen, people didn't like The Rock either at first.
I know, you're right. You're right. Yeah, that's true. It took time. Yeah.
It took time.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's jump into SummerSlam. It was held in Detroit this year. It was a hell of an event. I think overall it was one of their better shows of the year. What do you guys think? Overall thoughts on the show before we dive into some of the matches?
I'm going to totally disagree with you. I thought it was one of their worst shows of the year. Yeah.
I love it.
And in fact, I thought this may have been Triple H's worst PLE now, as they call them, premium live event. Yeah, since he took over. Okay, so I think the first two matches were great. The Logan Paul Ricochet match was fantastic. And there was no reason to end that with the brass knuckles. I thought they could have finished clean. I understand they're trying to get Logan Paul over and have him, be that dirty villain, if you will. Ricochet was in a great spot there. This was I thought it was a perfect way to start the show. The Cody match and Brock Lesnar, another great match and a great way to end that feud right there. Yeah, exactly. Chef's kiss, Mike. I look at it where, after those first two matches there, it started to dwindle a little bit for me because that battle royal, it did nothing for me. I'm sorry. The point of it was just to get LA Knight over. The women's title match, okay, it was exciting at the end when Asuka spit in the face there of Charlotte, but then Bianca Belair, great cash in for it was Io Shirai, right? Io Shirai.
Yep.
Yeah, blanking on her. Thank you. Good fit, good, exciting there. But I'm going to go on at the end here. Roman Reigns, the finish with Jimmy Uso, interfering to cost his brother the unified Universal Championship so predictable and just terrible. If you were okay, you guys were not in Detroit, right? You were not there?
No,
Okay.
I wasn't there.
I was not either. I had no desire to go there, with all due respect. But you know, but again, don't judge a book by its cover. Never been. So, but I will say this though: if you were not there, you know, they had us hook, line, and sinker the TV right when they go into the crowd. And then, but if you are there, you know that Solo Sikoa comes out of nowhere and going in for that cheap shot on Jey Uso there for the interference. And then, of course, it's so damn predictable. After what we saw at WrestleMania, after what we've seen the last 2.5 years with Roman Reigns here, winning, you know, in a dirty fashion way. No, I absolutely hated it. Now, I didn't think that Jey was going to win the title, but the way they do this over and over again, it just leaves you with the question when and how. I hated the match. It was probably the worst Roman Reigns match in the last 3 years. 36 minutes of garbage. Terrible match.
Well, Mike, I agree with you on the idea that this match was not the best match for Roman and for the Bloodline storyline at all. This might have been one of like the weaker, I guess, like legs of this story, like really one of the weaker ones, which it could have been one of the stronger ones. And I felt like the build was pretty good. I was like, it was fine. Like I thought it was due for him to get the comeuppance with Roman. Like we knew that clash was going to happen again. I thought I had seen that Roman got injured fairly early in that match, that there was some sort of like hip or back injury. So I do wonder if it doesn't explain away the whole thing, but I do think that probably played a role in just like maybe the quality of the match from the way we're watching it on TV. Like he might have been more limited than maybe we thought, but either way, the shenanigans at the end, I think that's the problem here is now there were shenanigans at the end of WrestleMania. There were shenanigans at SummerSlam. I feel like it's been a while since we've seen Roman go into a match, win it one-on-one, straight up. And I think now that, like, the whole build behind him is just, well, he's been champion for so long that it's almost like they're forgetting that he still needs to have some credibility. And in a way, I kind of agree with you, Mike. The more you talk, when you said it, I needed some time to sort of like sit with that. Because at first I had like that defense mechanism, like, what do you mean you're talking about Roman like that? But actually, it makes sense.
Yeah,
I think he needs to have like a couple of statement wins going into this. Once the fall hits, we get into that, like the grumblings for what's going to happen at WrestleMania next year. So I feel like heading into that, he does need some statement wins, and without the Bloodline's help, and that the brother versus brother thing. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Right. No. And yeah, no, Cash wanted to jump in. I can see him right there. He's ready to go. But I just want to say this. So exactly. Enough is enough. When are we going to have a full championship? They already got to 1,000 days. You got Roman at 1,000. You got him all over these guys. You look at Drew McIntyre, look at Cody Rhodes, you look at John Cena. I think it really started at WrestleMania, even before he was the tribal chief with The Undertaker, when he got him a few years ago. He can brag about that. But it's like, you got to have a clean win here. And this Bloodline thing, it is a great story. Don't get me wrong. It's fantastic how they've told it here. But I just don't see it. Enough is enough. Win clean, because you just know it's going to happen, Solo or now one of the Usos, and maybe even we could see a return of someone, i.e. Sami Zayn. Not saying it's going to happen, but I would not be shocked if there is some sort of reunion down the line for the Bloodline.
So,
sorry, Vito, go ahead.
That's okay. No, a lot to dissect here, and I love the passion. I love it. But here's my theory on it. I thought I'm kind of you guys have both sides of the fence here. You really liked it, and then you had one that really hated it. I'm right in the middle. And I was texting Mikey Cash about this throughout the whole pay-per-view. I thought it was a decent pay-per-view, but I don't think it was SummerSlam worthy. Like, if you compare it to other SummerSlams, it didn't have that big feel like most do. Sure. But I thought there were some really good highlights. You guys nailed most of them. But there were a couple other matches too. I mean, the Gunther Drew McIntyre match I thought was decent. I wasn't the best of the night, but I thought that was a good match.
Yeah.
I liked the Roman Reigns match to some degree, but here's the thing. I'm also skewed because they had like weapons and I that's my type
all
of
the stuff.
match. That's my type of match. You got me
Mhm.
you got me hooked here. You got me hooked. But no, I thought I'm kind of right there with you. You know, you hit something, Sarge, that was spot on, and I said the same exact thing. I go, why are we doing this battle royal? This is a waste of time. You literally
Yeah.
could have just done the
Mhm.
final four that were in there and had a match, and it would have been way better. Like, I don't need to see
Yeah.
half those guys just get thrown over the rope for no reason.
Yeah, Slim Jim paid a lot of money, and the LA Knight was their guy, so that's definitely, it was a true filler too, because it probably had to happen in that spot after two great matches there to begin
Right.
SummerSlam. So I look at it where SummerSlam is just like it for years. It was the number two show because in between WrestleMania you had 2 to 3 months to build up to the show. Now you had to fill the gap there with two pay-per-views or premium live events, whatever the hell they call them now. After that, to get to SummerSlam, and it almost feels like it's shorter storyline building. I really, you look at it where this past year, especially the Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes' return, and you had about a month and a half to get to WrestleMania. So you don't have those old fashioned 2-3 month buildups there where it almost feels like a real heavyweight bout when it
Mhm.
gets to it. But it's not, I don't think it's the number two anymore. I'd have to say the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble is the number two show for the WWE, and WrestleMania will always be the crown jewel of number one. So for what it could have been for SummerSlam, on a 5-star rating to go off of your boy Dave Meltzer, I give it 2.5 out of 5. Not impressed.
Yeah, I'm a little bit above that, but I'm right there with you. It didn't I didn't look at it and finish the show and be like, "Wow, this was awesome." The other point I'll say, and I'm sure Mikey, I know Mikey Cash will agree with me on this one. Far too long. Like it was just long. I love the pay-per-views that have been 3 hours, 4 hours, and we're done, right? I mean, if you watch the press conference, which I actually enjoy the press conferences that they do,
Mhm.
it went on till 1 o'clock and it started at 6 if you watch the pre-show, which is far too long.
Yep.
It's just too much. But I like you. I enjoyed the Brock Lesnar Cody match. I do think, as much as I wish Cody won at WrestleMania, I do think this build for him is been fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're making it. I know the interference with Roman Reigns at the end was a terrible ending for that match, but it does give you the feeling of like, man, I hate this guy Roman. Like, it starts to give you that feeling of like, I want Cody to win. Whereas I think you go into excuse me, you go into the last WrestleMania, and I'm not sure everybody was on Team Cody. I think a lot of people were, but I think you go into this next WrestleMania, and that main event is going to be even bigger than it was last year.
But is
I
it going to be Cody Roman?
I think it will be.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm in that camp too, and I think when we talked about when we had our WrestleMania review show, I feel like we talked about this, and this is Cody's Rocky redemption here,
Yeah.
and this is exactly what we were talking about. This is the first block of what he has to fight through to get back to that point and sort of like re-earn it. He's going through hard times, baby, and he got through it. He got through Lesnar, and not only that, but they already were planting the seeds there. They haven't forgotten about Cody and Roman. That day after on SummerSlam, on that Raw, when he's talking about fighting him, what did he say? He acknowledged him. That was a very purposeful line in that promo.
Good
And so
tease.
they are not forgetting about this.
Yep.
And I think that's really important. So back to the match though. That
Yeah.
match I really enjoyed, and I don't know about you guys, but in some ways I felt like it had this like weird variation on a last man standing. He kept going to the outside,
Yeah.
beating his ass, putting him through whatever,
Yep.
and then would just like get back in the ring and just see if he can like answer the count of 10. That was a really great structure to a match.
Yeah.
And it allowed Lesnar a little bit of acting. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, but Lesnar was really chatty during this match, more so than usual.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I loved it, and I texted you at the beginning of the match, and I go, if Roman, I mean, if Brock wins this match, I riot. Like I was like, I was like, this is a terrible match. And then as I saw the story building and what was happening, you could kind of see like Cody was taking a beating, like fake or not fake, scripted or not scripted. You could clearly tell him and Brock were exhausted by the end of that match. And I think it was kind of like his coming of age with Brock Lesnar. And by the end of the match, I was sold. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
And also at the end too, which was awesome, Brock gave him the handshake and the hug, you know, and that was like a human side of Brock Lesnar. And
never seen that.
Yeah. So I think I watched the match again last night just because I knew this was a big talking point for you guys here, and for myself as well, for this this particular episode here, Strutting from Gorilla. But Cody, you know, you're right that it was that third bout there with Brock, and it good way to finish off that story, if you will, an obstacle to get back. And you know, him for Brock to embrace Cody after is almost like, okay, both of us, from what I took out of it, this is what I took out of it, because I'm going to tie in what Cody said after the SummerSlam. I know, Cash, you were all cashed out, no pun intended, on the event there with the press conference. And yes, it was late, but Cody did say, someone asked him, what's next for you? How are you going to get back to the top or whatever? And he goes, I think you all know where I'm going to get, but I'm not going to tell you. So is the tease right there for, he's probably going to get back to Roman. And when Brock embraced him, I took out of it like, hey, I wasn't able to beat Roman. You weren't able to do it the first time, but I'm behind you. It was something like that I get out of it. And now Cody has the documentary on Peacock Network. So they're really building him up now. Not that they weren't before, but to get back to the top there, I think this is just the baby step way. Here we go. Because as you know, this Friday, tickets go on sale for WrestleMania, which is crazy in August. I've never seen that. It's usually November. Probably sell out by, mid-September, which is amazing, without a card announced. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Jeez. God, they're booming. The business for them is
the whole
booming.
thing is, Hey, one match on there that was a real dud, and I'm like, honestly, I could have done without this match. Was the Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey?
I knew it.
It was just so bad. Talk about a fall from grace. Like me and Mikey Cash were on here talking about the women's division and how Ronda Rousey like brought so much like respect, and it just brought a different audience and light to the women's division when she first came back.
Yep. And
then all of a sudden, like over the last year, she's just it's been like barely mid-card type of matches, like terrible.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yeah,
that's devolved. It's that's the match where I understand why they put it on there, because of who she is. They needed to put it on there, and I think Shayna needed the rub. Shayna needs to
definitely.
I've always liked Shayna Baszler, and I always felt like, why aren't they marketing her the way they're marketing Ronda Rousey? And ultimately, I do understand it from a business standpoint, but just like as a fan, I would think to myself, why isn't Shayna getting that same sort of rocket that Ronda is? So hopefully we'll see that with Shayna going forward. But this match, if I was gonna switch out any matches, I would have taken this match off, and instead of having it on Raw recently, Becky versus Trish should have been on that card. I think the crowd would have responded way better. There's a much better story for that's been going on for months now. And I mean, Trish has been killing it in her heel Legends run. You don't see a lot of women getting that veteran run. And I think I think this was a mistake by them by not putting them on. Or if Slim Jim wasn't, a huge sponsor, maybe they could have swapped that out from the Battle Royal.
Yeah, no, totally agree, Mike. Totally. And, I look at it, I'm just looking at the times of the matches. I mean, that Roman Reigns match ate up a lot of clock, 36 minutes. Yeah, everything else is like 18, 15, all that. The Ronda Rousey, Shayna was 7 minutes. And to your point there with Trish, I think they also slept on it too from a geographical standpoint because Detroit is just over the river from Toronto, where Trish Stratus is from. So they dropped the ball on that one there. And yeah, like Ronda Rousey, man, what the hell has just the respect on her? No one cares for her anymore. It's almost like, I mean, I'm sure there are better ones, but the top one I could think of is like the run Lex Luger had with the Lex Express of the year after, where then he became tag team with the British Bulldog and then on his way out to W. It's similar to that, you know. It's just like, oh my God. She main evented a WrestleMania, you know. It's amazing. It's not the same Ronda Rousey that we knew the last couple of years. No, not at all.
And what's even sadder is throughout all of this, we never got the match we all wanted to see that was building up. Becky versus Ronda. We never got the one-on-one. Right. It just never happened. And I'll never understand how they didn't figure out another way to get back to that.
I know. And they should have at what was it, the Royal Rumble last year when Ronda Rousey won. Remember that? Or Ronda Rousey returned. Right. But Charlotte won. And it's like, you should have Becky win. I don't know. Just or excuse me. Should have had Becky win the Royal Rumble. Yeah. It was so stupid. I hated that.
I couldn't agree more with you guys. I just I think you know what it is too. I think as wrestling fans are smarter than people give them credit for, and they can tell when somebody is into what they're doing and they're passionate, or if they're just there to collect a paycheck. And it was clearly obvious. And I'm not going to say that Ronda didn't try to be a wrestler, but I don't know that she's passionate about the whole thing. I don't get the feeling she is. And people sour on that really quickly, especially wrestling fans. Like they'll take a guy who's going to try really hard, that might not be the best looking guy or whatever, but they gravitate towards the people that are passionate about what they're doing.
It's interesting too when you look at just the contrast of. I remember being there for her debut match at WrestleMania, and the crowd was hot for that match. That match was kind of like perfect for her, like a perfect debut. Kurt Angle, Triple H, and Stephanie. Like
it was a good match.
The perfect person to like get her ass kicked by someone, and so it was great. And there was one spot in that match where she like rolled Triple H up and then like popped up with him on her shoulders, like John Cena style, and that crowd went berserk for it. And she was into it. You could feel it. And I thought to myself, what a great debut. And to see where it just ended, it just so lackluster. You had a 7-minute MMA match in WWE. It just feels like such an anticlimactic way to go.
And something, you know what, and I know it's the MMA match. This is where, and I know WWE is now joining forces with UFC, and you may even see more combat contrast more than ever before. I mean, we've seen it over the years, definitely. But like, I think that's where they got to separate the audience a little bit, because say we're just wrestling fans. That's it. We don't watch UFC. Just say, hypothetical, we don't know who Ronda Rousey is. You got to build that whole character out to who she is. Now, me, as I'll keep my personally, I won't watch UFC hardcore like I do for pro wrestling, but I'll keep my eye on it, and I know some of these names. I knew who Ronda Rousey was, but I didn't know all the backstory on her, so I needed that whole storyline there to get that to me. And not watching the MMA outside of WWE, where it's happening in a squared circle compared to the octagon, it's a little different. And it may not work. It's two different audiences, apples and oranges.
It was too cheesy. I would rather them not had that MMA stipulation. I don't think it did anything for me. And it was like, you're either in a squared circle or you're in the octagon. Yep. And you can't marry both and make it look realistic. I just thought I would rather them have gone at it in an MMA style match in an octagon. Like, it would have been much better. It would have. I agree with you there. Hey, switching gears though, before we move on to AEW, because we have a lot to talk about there. I know we all do. There are two things I wanted to touch on SummerSlam that we didn't hit on. Number one, I know, Sarge, you weren't a big fan of the triple threat women's match, but I got to tell you, when Bianca Belair went down with that knee injury, I thought it was real. I've never seen a sell like that.
That was really good.
I don't know if she was legitimately hurt and pushed through it a little bit or what happened, but it was fantastic. Like
Yeah.
I was sitting there like, oh my God, that sucks. Like
Yeah.
poor Bianca, right? Like crazy.
My wife was watching with me, and she was like, "Is she really? She's hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, she got my wife. She got her hook, line,
Yeah.
and sinker.
Yeah.
Great selling. Great
Yeah.
selling.
Yeah, that was unbelievable selling, and I actually liked the finish. I really did because Belair wins, and then you have the cash in right after. Very exciting, with Io Sky coming out there to pull it off there for the women's side, and she is awesome, Bianca Belair. But here's the thing though, with that women's side there, it almost felt like, okay, Belair's kind of on the borderline of babyface and heel. I don't know, but definitely Charlotte's a heel. Asuka, I would probably put as a heel too, wouldn't you guys?
Yeah.
I would.
She's like
right?
a fun heel. She's kind of the heel you like to boo, but you kind of like her too. Like you'd be fine when she wins.
Yes.
Bianca's wonderful. I think, Mike, do you think that she's getting a little stale? I feel like there's a little bit of that. Like, all right, well, I mean, you're really good, and the crowd does like her, but I feel like her character development, like for the last few months or so, has been sort of like lackluster. It's just sort of like kind of plateauing.
Yeah,
and I feel like she probably feels that too. So I wonder if we're going to be getting a little bit of
might need a reboot,
a different side of her heading into now that we're getting into the fall and maybe the build towards Survivor Series and something that could happen there.
Yeah, I mean, my colleague and friend of mine from the Sports Hub, Joe Murray, said it perfect one time. He thinks that Bianca Belair is the most the purest babyface WWE has ever produced, and I have a hard time arguing that. I can't think of anyone else because that came up through the system and has been a babyface ever since. She's never been a heel. So it's really amazing to think that it's like, and maybe this is the time to make her a heel.
Yeah,
get a little reboot, if you will.
You'd have to go back to the Ricky the Dragon
yeah,
Steamboat.
I know.
But did he? But no. But the question is, did he come up through WWE?
Oh, I don't.
'Cause
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Yeah, like she was
Right,
pure
like-
NXT. I'm talking like,
yeah, right.
you can't make the jump, which is amazing. So it's really like Roman Reigns started in the NXT, all that, and so it's interesting to hear that.
Maybe John Cena. John Cena's never been healed,
but he started. I think
he was.
No, he was a heel. Yeah, he was
yeah.
a heel. I'd say he was a bad guy.
Well, that's true. I guess that's true when he was the rapper.
Like,
the rapper.
In 2003 when he was the doctor of thugonomics.
Yeah, he was a bad guy. Nobody liked
point.
him.
Good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah. Can I bring something up if you guys don't mind, if that's okay?
Please.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we just talked about the women's Money in the Bank cash-in. The men's Money in the Bank cash-in almost happened there, right?
Yeah.
With
That was the
Gunther
other
and
point I was going to bring up. Was the Seth Rollins and
Drew McIntyre.
Finn Balor.
Yeah, Finn Balor. Excuse me. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry, I had a Gunther thought. That's what was tying in there. The Seth Rollins, though. Yeah, it's okay. So, and this will tie into Cody as well.
Mm-hmm.
But Seth Rollins defeating Finn Balor, and when I saw the Judgment Day come out there, I'm like, oh my God, there is no way that Rollins is going to win this here. They're going to just absolutely pack of wolves attack him. And, and this is great. I was so excited. Like, it would be a good title change right there. Didn't happen because Damian Priest, caused Finn Balor the situation right there. So some dissent among the ranks, if you will, in Judgment Day. I don't know. But I thought it was great for those two to possibly tease a feud. But, this is where I go back to Cody in that press conference where he says, I think you know what's next. It seems like there might be some real life heat between he and Seth Rollins. From what I've heard a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see those two going at it for the world heavyweight title if they're going to keep the title on Seth Rollins. So a lot to unpack on that one there, but very exciting finisher when Damian Priest came out.
You got me thinking, and I have this like weird, this little thing just popped in my head. We could see Seth and Cody fight for a title, and maybe it's like a one-off. And the reason I say that is this, because that could be where you inject the Judgment Day and Damian Priest into it, and it kind of takes a whole detour where it's the build-up, it's Seth, it's Cody, it's the real-life heat between the two of them. They're in the match, and then boom, the Judgment Day's music hits, he cashes in, and it's almost similar to how Seth won. the first time with his Money in the Bank cash in, where it was a one-on-one match. He came in, basically made it a triple threat, wins the match. Except the same thing happens, except he's on the other side of it this time. And then boom, that leads into Priest and Seth Rollins, and then however Finn Balor and the rest of the Judgment Day gets involved. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but off the top of my head, I see you smiling, Vito.
I like it.
Yeah, no, I like it. I mean, listen, Cash.
Yeah, pal.
I think that's a great idea. I do. I think the Judgment Day is, when they first came, I was kind of like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid group. And they've kind of grown on me a little bit. I think without Edge, it's been great to see some of those guys. Like, I'm a big Finn Balor guy. I like Finn, and he hasn't really done much. He won the title and then got injured, and then it's kind of been downhill, and then he became the leader of the Judgment Day. And I think he puts on some good matches. I like him. I think that would be a great way to see it all kind of come together. So,
Finn is such a natural heel. He's actually good as a heel.
Yeah.
And I've watched some of his stuff back when he was the first leader of the Bullet Club, and he was a good heel. He was great. He knew what he was doing. So it's great that he was able to finally get the chance after all these years and even more experience. I mean, this guy has been around the block for a long time. So I think it's great that he's using all of that knowledge now and helping out the rest of the group. They're all building each other up, and Rhea Ripley is just absolutely on fire too. I mean, that she is the future of that women's division going forward.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no,
her and Bianca are going to be like the 1 and 1A.
Have they had a match?
I think they fought in NXT briefly, but I mean, I think that was all might have been pandemic when they were fighting. I'm unclear, but
I think those two put on a banger together because they're both such great athletes.
Yeah.
And I've said this before, but the women's division, I feel like there's two levels, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like Bianca,
Rhea, Charlotte,
Rhea,
like the four horsewomen kind of thing.
Yeah. And then
you
have like the Becky's, who's still a great wrestler, but physically she's not the size of like the Bianca, the Charlottes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like it's kind of like a Brock Lesnar and Shawn Michaels type situation, right? Like
Right.
that's how I look at it. Like there's two different styles, and they take it to a different level. So I agree.
And you look at that whole Judgment Day there too. I mean, Ripley right now is the women's world champion. Balor was just in a bout there for the world heavyweight title. Damian Priest holds the Money in the Bank. Dominic Mysterio is getting the push of a lifetime right now. That's a great faction. That is a fantastic faction. And I put it right up. I mean, the Bloodline is probably the best story going in pro wrestling. This is not too far behind the Judgment Day. And if they can get all these titles, right, that could be something interesting.
Yeah. The other thing that would be interesting, and I was a big fan of Seth Rollins and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
I thought those two, I don't know what it was, but they went together well. How cool would it be if, and this isn't going to happen, but if Seth turned heel and him and Logan were like a tag team together? I think those two together would be fantastic television. I just really do. I don't know what it is. I think it would be good. But anyways, let's switch subjects. We've been
any other thoughts on Summer? Yeah, should we talk? Any final thoughts on SummerSlam? Because I feel let's jump to AEW. If not.
I mean, again, I was disappointed with it as an overall product. I think they could have had a title change in there, another one rather. And I'm saying Finn Balor or the Damian Priest cash in, but they're obviously protecting Seth Rollins, so it leads me to think that Cody might be going for that. And also, if that's not the case, the Gunther one did not change the title. He's just trying to get to the Honky Tonk Man record at this point. What's it, less than 30 days now? Right. So he will get there. But again, I just look at it with Cody maybe going for the Intercontinental title next. You never know. And Gunther could make that jump to go main event.
Sarge, let me ask you a question, because me and Mike have had this debate.
Please.
So these records that are going on between, you got the Intercontinental title, you got the World Heavyweight title, and the days held. And it's a good debate here. Do you consider it, though, the same as when Hulk Hogan was champion or Bruno Sammartino? And here's my point to this, is that back then there were 2, maybe 3 titles, like if you were lucky, Now you have 8 titles. So does it really hold the same weight as it did back then? Because there was only one true guy,
Right.
and you can make the argument Roman Reigns is on another planet right now. And I would agree that if there was one world heavyweight title, not two, that he would be at that level and he'd probably still hold that title. But is it the same feeling as it was when Hulk Hogan was champion and no one could touch him,
Well, yes and no for the heavyweight title. I'll start with that one there because there was a time that Hogan held the title for like 3 years essentially. But this was like in the advent of pay-per-view, where they did not have, what was it, one every 3 months essentially. It was just WrestleMania and then Survivor Series, the second oldest one.
Right.
He wasn't defending the title at Survivor Series till 91 against The Undertaker because it was all tag team matches for a long time there. And it's similar to Roman Reigns, where he's also not defending the title every month. He may not, like, he was not even scheduled for television, it looked like, for the next few weeks. But, he was on SmackDown last week, and for an injured Roman, essentially, what you read in the dirt sheet, he looked pretty good, I thought. But, it just seems like it's similar parallels to that there. And to your point, is it the same on that spectrum? Yeah, if you're not going to defend it. But does it hold the same value if with all the television time and for what they expect out of performers now? No, it does not. For the Intercontinental side, I will say this: that's really been like the I guess
workhorse belt.
Yes, the workhorse belt, exactly. And there is some legacy to it. There is some legacy to the Intercontinental title, and I think the Triple H, what he's done here, he's a Gunther guy. He's a Walter guy. He is Mike here. Here we go.
Awesome.
There you go. Mike's back. Okay, good. He's a Walter guy from the NXT days back in the day. So I think he's doing everything he can to protect him and him being Gunther to hold on to that and get him to the next level. So I think there's a little more value in the IC title right now as it's being defended in a clean way each month on a pay-per-view compared to the Roman Reigns not being on every pay-per-view.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And me and Mike go back and forth about this all the time. It's pretty funny, but I agree. It's a good debate to have because I mean it's no different than regular sports today, right? Like you have different rule change in Major League Baseball. Is that the same as it was?
Yeah, run around second in the
right.
extra innings. Get the hell out of here.
You have the NFL where basically, it's a passing league now. Is it the same as winning a title back when defenses were iron curtains? Like it's the same concept, and I think you'll always have that argument, and it's a good argument to have, right? It's interesting. So, let's switch subjects here. Let's go and talk about AEW. Okay, you both have been watching it. Mikey Cash, you're there, right? You can hear us.
Mike.
I don't think you can.
Hello, Mike. Mikey. Oh,
Did
boy.
we lose you, Mikey Cash?
I mean, we can see him. Oh, we lost him again. He went offline.
That's all right. Let's keep going. Me and you.
Let's rock it. Yep.
And
He'll come back. Poor Mike.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, we have AEW. It's been quite interesting.
Yeah.
We got All Out. Give me your thoughts on some of the stuff going on.
Oh, man.
And all Out.
Yeah, sure. Mike, can you hear us?
I think the fiend got me or something. I got something on a rabbit hole. Just like everything just like went black, then came back, and then you guys weren't there. I don't know what was going on.
It was so funny. We're talking to you. We can see you. You obviously couldn't hear us, and you're like a deer in headlights there. It's pretty funny, the reaction going on there.
I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
We switched gears. We're talking about
Cash talking AEW.
Let's do it.
AEW.
Yeah.
So I was asking for Sarge's thoughts on what's going on.
Okay, so I think the three big parts for me right now, I'll bullet point it here. I think the MJF Adam Cole storyline has been really good as a tag team. It just feels inevitable that the turn is going to come. Someone's going to backstab them. One of the two are going to backstab each other. More than likely MJF against Adam Cole. I don't know. I could be wrong that Cole would do it, but it seems more that MJF would be the one to turn. And then CM Punk, I think I've shared my thoughts with you guys. I was telling you off the air that I think Aaron Rodgers is the most overrated athlete of my lifetime. Well, here you go. CM Punk is the most overrated wrestler of my lifetime. Okay, the guy, he's a competitor. He's a good in-ring performer. Don't get me wrong. It really still irritates me the way he handled himself at that press conference last year, Labor Day weekend in Chicago, with the owner, the guy who was paying your bills. You acted like a child. And to go behind the scenes and to pull all that crap and to walk away. I know he's had some off camera issues, but no, enough is enough. I am done with CM Punk. I don't care if he wins the world title. He has to go back to Chicago Labor Day weekend because that's his home base, and to get that real crowd pop there. So he's probably going to win the title. You know, and maybe it's one last chance for him to have that reboot there, but he still does not move the needle for me. I'm sorry. Doesn't do it. And then the other thing too, AEW, what they're doing here is going to Wembley Stadium, the home of SummerSlam 92, as we know. And that really got the WWF to that international platform just a few years after Vince McMahon Jr. bought it from his dad. So for what Tony Khan is doing here and to sell out Wembley Stadium and to essentially have more tickets sold than SummerSlam 92 is really awesome. And the thought I had with you guys, I told you on the texter, I thought Eric Bischoff made a great point on his podcast that All Out, is it All Out or All In? They're both
All In is in London, and then All Out, I think, is the Chicago show.
Okay. And the thing
my
is,
bad.
yeah, but they're a week apart. They're a week. So it's like, so Bischoff, his point was to have All In free on TNT, because when you think about that, the U.S. audience Saturday afternoon at 3, and then just replay it during not Rampage but Collision, the Collision time slot there on TNT on Saturday night as well. Get your whole audience there, and then you have All Out the following week, Labor Day weekend, because the problem is, what you guys subscribe to Peacock Network to watch the WWE. We're only paying $100 a year for 12 pay-per-views. You're asking wrestling fans to pay $50 each, about $100 in a matter of 7 days for 2 shows right there. AEW's got to work and figure out that situation for the audience. So they're asking for a lot in 2 weekends there. So the MJF Adam Cole is my big one, CM Punk, and then the pay-per-view in London. So exciting couple of weeks for AEW.
Well, let me jump in before the Fiend takes me back into the digital rabbit hole again. So, you know, I agree with you on that point, and I really hadn't thought of it that way. But it's so odd to have that kind of timing for 2 big shows. How are we supposed to care about which one? And
right.
It's funny because you even notice during their build-up the last several weeks, it's like, well, I'm going to fight you at All In. Well, I'm going to fight you at All Out. Well, which one's where? You know, like you're trying to market 2 different shows at the same time. And I would think, logically, if you have a big show in Wembley Stadium, that's my focus. That's it. I'm not thinking about anything beyond that, because you want everybody's eyeballs and focus on London and what this show is going to present to you. And I don't know, it maybe, correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but I think a lot of this continues to be a ripple effect of the Punk thing, because there's this separation happening, you know, where there's Dynamite and Collision, you know, that it's their own version of Raw and SmackDown, except in some weird way, and I hate to say this, but I actually do like Collision, but like begrudgingly, I enjoy it. However, it's indicative of this like rinky-dink playground bullshit where, excuse my language, but that, like, so your coworkers can't get along, and so instead of figuring it out, mediating, we've just separated you. And I don't think that is a viable long-term plan for how you handle employees. Because ultimately that's what it comes down to. They're employees working with each other. You have a job to do, right? You know, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins do not like each other, but Cody's not on SmackDown and Seth is on Raw because they don't like each other. No, they figure out a way to make things work and deal with it. So I think that's my quick aside on that. But as far as MJF and Cole is concerned, I've really liked the storyline. I am cautious about putting Adam Cole, who has been shown to be injury prone, in a 2 matches in one night, I think you're flirting with disaster there, because the guy's he's been concussed really bad the last couple of years. I mean, he was out for months and months, almost a full year. This guy was out. So you have him come back, and now you're going to put him in that 0-hour tag team match, which maybe he'll be protected and he won't have to wrestle just as much as he will in the main event, but you're still risking an injury to this guy. And I question it, even if their point is eventually to have MJF, pull some crap during this 0 hour and set up some set up the main event. But I'm struggling with it. I don't know about you guys.
Well, yeah. And sorry, just if I can just make an addendum, Cash, like I was saying, those two were together, and the turn, like here it is here, who's going to turn on one another? Yeah, they are fighting each other, but I think you're going to have something dirty happen here, and Cole's going to come away with it somehow, and maybe form his own new faction, if you will.
Yeah, hopefully his own version, the AEW Undisputed Era.
Yeah. Sorry, Cash.
No, it's a lot to take in here, and I loved all of it. And so here's the thing. I think that I love AEW. I've been an AEW fan for a while, and they've had their ups, they've had their downs. And the problem they have is you got a guy like Tony Khan, who's great. He brought this new wrestling promotion in, but the guy really doesn't have any sort of organizational skills with what's going on. You see it with like the storylines. When they didn't have a lot of people, it was easy because they focused on a couple people. Now they have this giant roster of people, and I'm not sure he's doing a great job managing both storylines to some degree and like just day to day, like what's going on, what you're supposed to be doing. And then you throw in the ripple of CM Punk, and it really is fascinating to watch, because you've never seen this before, where they just created a whole new show for a guy because two people on the roster, two groups, didn't like each other, right? And I find it fascinating, and I'm really curious to see how it pans out. But I look at it like, imagine if all of a sudden you got the PWO, the Punk World Order, right? Like you got like that's basically what's happening.
Too many factions.
Yeah, but like it's really interesting to see, because clearly not everybody hates CM Punk, because people are wrestling on that show and they don't have a problem with them. But then you have the extreme other side where you have the Elite and their squad who doesn't like them. So it's really interesting. And I think a lot of it does have to do with the two shows and them not wanting to be in the same locker room. But I said this to Mikey Cash, and I fully believe this. If they could work out their differences just for a little bit, they could cash in so much money on a match between these guys, and they could really milk it. And I think they'd get a lot of eyeballs because people want to see them interact again,
Yeah.
So
100%.
I'm curious to see how the problem is, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't even know the card for this London show. I couldn't tell you 4 matches that are on this card because they didn't really announce it till like a week ago.
It's only 5 right now.
Yeah.
You got the Ring of Honor tag team title. It's the Aussie Open versus MJF and Adam Cole right there. Then you got FTR versus the Young Bucks for the AEW tag team titles. Hikaru Shida versus Tony Storm Saraya in a mystery opponent for the women's world title. Tag team coffin match, Darby Allin and Sting versus who is it? AR Fox. Mogul Embassy with AR Fox, and then MJF versus Adam Cole. So 5 matches right there. So that's where I see the turn happening there with Cole on MJF and Cole.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm curious to see how it plays out. I mean, for a sold out 80,000 person stadium, that's not a lot of matches. And I'm not saying that because I like to see a lot of matches, but you'd think you'd see like 7 or 8 matches on there,
Yeah.
It's out of character for AEW at this point. Usually they got like 14 matches on a show.
And to back to your point there with Tony Khan, Cash, I mean, he's just like, it's almost like a micromanager. He has his hand in everything and just very unorganized. And like we were saying at the beginning of this here, we were talking about that, or Vito, sorry, you mentioned the Tony Khan thing, sorry. But we're talking about at the beginning with the pro wrestling, where the pay-per-views before 3-4 months in between, you have one a week of after. It's amazing. Like you're losing that sizzle on the steak. You're losing it. It's too much.
Right.
It's I like, and I know that AEW, well, even before AEW came a thing, it was Cody and the Young Bucks that had All Out in Chicago Labor Day weekend. So I don't think Tony Khan wants to lose that. He wants to still hold on to that, hey, we made pro wrestling a thing Labor Day weekend, because WWE jumped on that bandwagon last year, Clash at the Castle, and they're doing it again this year with Payback from Pittsburgh. So is All Out, by the way, is that going to be a Sunday or is that a
Saturday?
It is Saturday. So they're going head to head.
Yeah.
So if it's okay, it is Saturday. Wow.
I believe so. Don't quote me on that. I can't tell. I'm all jumbled because there's no continuity around here.
No, you know what? No. I'm looking at it. September 3rd is a Sunday.
Okay, it is a Sunday.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll have Payback on Saturday night. So
I dig a Saturday night pay-per-view though. Those are
yeah.
great.
Yeah, Payback is Saturday. And I mean, listen, we're all sports fans too. I mean, that's the official kickoff weekend of college football. So that's also a fun, that's tough to take away from the Saturdays. Slate of games there as well, right?
Right.
So a lot of TVs going there, kids.
It's a lot of wrestling to keep up with, man. I don't know about you
So
guys.
much.
Sometimes I have a hard time keeping up with it. Yeah.
Yeah, they really took over the Labor Day weekend there. They really wanted to do that.
How do you feel about that Collision show being on a Saturday?
I like it.
Yeah. At first, I was very skeptical. You like it?
I guess
Cash?
it's better. I guess it's easier now because we're all older, so we're not going out as much on a Saturday.
Right.
Like, this is awesome to watch this on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
Make myself a cocktail. I'll sit down. I'll enjoy
Right.
this. Order a pizza.
Yeah,
Right,
I was skeptical, and in fact, I had more hope for Rampage when that became a thing, right? Because they were going off of SmackDown. You go to SmackDown, then 10 o'clock you put on Rampage.
Yeah.
It really hasn't panned out, which I'm a little surprised.
It's because it's taped, right? Like
true,
taped
yeah,
wrestling
you're
shows
right.
just are not the
It
same.
doesn't work. Yeah,
you can't go backwards in time with the taped wrestling shows. They're
Yeah.
just not as good.
Right.
And then we're all scouring the internet looking at all this stuff. You see spoilers all the time. That's what's lackluster. If they got rid of that show, they're better off just putting it on like YouTube, like the dark show.
Right. Or you put Ring of Honor on one of them, like, because they're not really showcased on a main.
That's a good point, Sarge.
Right. Tony Khan, thank you. And Tony Khan last year, I asked him directly about that. Do you look at Ring of Honor as a minor league system, if you will, like an NXT? And he just shut it down completely. He said, no, it's its own brand. But I think he's losing out on a prime opportunity right there, where they have that Ring of Honor club or whatever, right? It's in their own little, I don't know. There's that base there for that, but I think it just opens up so much more of an audience there if you parlay that into one of AEW's broadcast partners in Turner Media, which they have a great relationship with, and they could take advantage of that, put it on the Friday night show there, and it just opens it up.
Yeah, I think they've kind of dropped the ball on the Ring of Honor thing, because I don't know when I could watch it. I don't know where to watch it. I don't know any of it. I don't even know who's Ring of Honor, who's AEW. I'm a little bit lost.
So much crossover.
Yeah,
right. So much.
There's nothing separated about it. I think I think it's sort of. I think in my view, it kind of showcases one of the real weaknesses of AEW right now, which is they don't have anything streaming. There's nothing. Their library is just completely in a vault somewhere. And I know that some of that isn't necessarily their fault. I know there's a big issue with like Warner Brothers Discovery and how they can maybe get an AEW section on Max or something like that. I know that's something that he's brought up in interviews before. And I mean, that makes perfect sense, right? They have the TV rights to it. It would make sense to just sort of have that as a part of it. But until that happens, I just feel like that's what will make them feel like the second class one to me.
Yeah.
Class company. Because it's just like, well, all right. Well,
right.
I could wait a week and then watch Raw on Peacock,
Exactly. And they're also still heavy on the Bleacher Report. to order
Yeah.
pay-per-views. Bleacher Report, it's like,
That app
that's
stinks.
yeah, you got to fix that. They got to find a way, because WWE has, to their credit, their partnership with NBC is amazing, and I know that contract's coming up in a couple of years.
Mhm.
But right there in the Peacock Network, far left side, WWE logo, boom, it's right there. And that's because they bought out the network. But AEW, they got to figure out a way to kind of parallel that
Mhm.
to make it easier access for everyone.
Absolutely.
And you're not paying $100 for the 2-week period, 7 days. That's
Right.
insane.
That's just
Well,
insanity.
and
Yeah.
I would love to go back and watch some of those old Ring of Honor pay-per-views or shows. Like I never really followed it, but I'd
Mhm.
love to see some old Samoa Joe versus CM Punk,
Yep.
or
Kevin Owens.
the Briscoe
Yeah.
brothers or Kevin Owens. Yeah, I'd love to see all
And
that.
wouldn't it be great to go back and revisit past all-ins too? As you're getting
Yeah.
prepared for this,
Absolutely.
like, oh man, let's watch that first one again, and it was so awesome. And then throughout the years,
Yeah.
like even the pandemic era, and watching some of those shows, man, you're missing out on the ability for people to engage
Yep.
and
Yeah.
to say, oh, are you excited about this year's all in? Well, why don't you go back and revisit some of the past years and some of the great rivalries? We'll spotlight some matches for you. You can use that and get people invested.
Yep.
They're missing out.
Exactly. I got to tell
Yeah.
you though, guys. After WrestleMania, I always have that little hangover. Like,
Mhm.
I got to take some time off, and like I was in and out of wrestling for, I kept my eye on and everything, but just not like super in tune to it. Like Backlash, I think I had to work that night, so I didn't even watch. But you just keep an eye on it and all that. Summer, I think, is a huge opportunity for wrestling to go to that next level. Obviously, SummerSlam. There's no, you're not going up against Monday Night Football. You're not going
Yeah.
up against football in general. That's huge. No other NBA, NHL, but yeah, you get some MLB games here or there. Playoffs are out of the equation. And it does help. It helps bring it back to, okay, now I'm getting hungry again. And then we're going to go full ramp into the fall. And then here we are again, Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. It's really cool to see this here. And it gets me excited after SummerSlam. As much as I didn't like the show, and the build-up I thought was really good for a lot of the matches. But here we are, AEW going to London. I'm very excited to see how that's
Yeah.
going to work out. But right after this, I mean, it's great for a fan, not just wrestling, but sports too. We got football coming up right in the horizon here. I know you guys were excited about that too. But here we are. Before we know it, it will be the Royal Rumble once again. We'll all be talking about that. And WrestleMania tickets go on sale this week, which is amazing. So it's a very exciting time to be a pro wrestling fan.
Big time.
Agreed. Well, Sarge, we appreciate you having you on.
Guys,
You're
we're awesome. I
welcome.
love you guys.
We welcome you anytime you want to come on. It's always great to have someone who's even more opinionated than me and Mikey Cash. It's great.
I love it.
I threw a lot at you today, guys.
It was good, man. No, listen. We needed that. We it spices it up with me and Vito. So we need a little bit of this excitement.
Yeah.
Mike, tell the audience, what are you up to? What's going on? Where can everybody find you?
Yeah, sure. I'm off for a couple weeks, which is nice till we reconvene. Let's see here. We have our home opener for the Patriots Sunday, September 10th. No, I don't have tickets. Don't ask. Against the Philadelphia Eagles. Tom Brady's returning, and we got a couple of Revolution games in between there as well, and a little bit over at the Sports Hub. I'll be back there at the end of this month. But I'm on a little mini vacay until late August, if you will, Labor Day weekend. So taking time
how's
off.
the new scoreboard looking over there?
Oh my God, Vito, unbelievable! Okay, shameless plug. You can check out the video board debut. I'm going to post it on my Instagram this week at Sarge985 with the video board. It was awesome. We debuted it 2 weeks ago. It's beautiful. It is the largest outdoor video board in America. Largest outdoor video board.
Wow.
And that day we had Devin McCourty was there to help do the honors to turn it on, which was so cool. Be a part of that with him. It's beautiful. It's really nice.
I have a question on that scoreboard. It's very wide,
yes,
right?
it is, yeah.
But it's not as tall. How does that work for videos, right? Because obviously you want to have it span the whole piece. I just was curious.
No.
You may not know.
No,
I was just curious.
No, that's a good question because it's funny because they're still getting the kinks out of it, if you will, testing it. And there are some shots. So say if you guys are both right on the field, Cash to Vito touchdown. So there's a specific shot of your face right there after you get the touchdown. You got to kind of have it be ready to pan out because otherwise it's going to be blown up into it. So they're working on that there. They're testing it. It's going to be ready to go, though, for the week one, 100%, like the way it comes out to the full projection, if you will, full presentation, rather, to the fans. And it's going to be really, really exciting. But the other thing, too, is that the lighthouse behind it, it's
unbelievable.
Yeah, double the size of the old lighthouse at Gillette Stadium. There's going to be an observatory up top. And there's also a club right below the scoreboard. So a lot of big things happening. The scoreboard's there. The lighthouse is in. The football season's getting underway. We have Army-Navy this year in December. That has never happened in Foxborough. It's mainly been a Mid-Atlantic regional thing, New York,
right,
Baltimore, Philadelphia, D.C. But Foxborough gets it, which is amazing. And we're 3 years out from the FIFA World Cup here in Foxborough as well. So,
and it seems like a great spot to have a SummerSlam.
I don't think it's out of the equation. I can tell you this, WrestleMania was a finalist in 2017 there, but Orlando got it. And it's risky outdoors.
It is. Yeah. SummerSlam makes way more sense.
SummerSlam makes perfect sense, yeah. But you also are playing with fire, too, without the dome.
I know.
Mm-hmm. It's risky, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why Tennessee, did you see their new stadium, the Titans, the renderings? Take a look. It's like, you think Disney World, it's like Disney World on steroids. Unbelievable.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
So they're going to get WrestleMania once that's done. You know that. They're going to get a Super Bowl.
Interesting.
What's all for? Well, if you build it, they will come.
They will come.
Right?
Well, this was great, Mike. Thank you once again for being on, man. We love having you.
Thank you, guys.
For everybody listening, thank you guys today. We want to make sure, once again, big thank you to Mike. Make sure you're following him on the socials and keeping up with all of his activities. Thank you all for listening to today's episode. Keep an eye on the old podcast feed. Now that summer is winding down, we'll be able to record on a more consistent schedule, so we'll have more episodes coming your way. But that is all for today, folks. So until next time, keep on strutting, jabronis.
We now return your perception of reality to you. Until next time.